So the Sega CD was the one that, at one time or another, I thought I should try to get every single game for. I love this system. And I guess I just, in hindsight, Sega CD games started going up, many years later, and I thought that they would always be affordable. But working designs and, people started collecting those games, and Popful Mail, it was a $15 game at the local flea markets, maybe 25, on the dealers that were a little more expensive. Nobody wanted that game. Nobody wanted it until eBay came out, and for whatever reason, the collectors became a reselling collector market. And I didn't really profit a lot from like Atari and or Nintendo or anything. When we were doing our Yahoo auctions and stuff like that before everybody moved to eBay and eventually moved to Amazon and stuff like that. But we were making a little bit of money buying and selling Ataris, Super Nintendos, Nintendo 64, maybe Genesis, a little bit of that, and they were not, like I said, not super a lot of money that we were profiting. Occasionally you could buy something for 25 or 50 cents and sell it for $5 or $10. And eventually people wanted like Chrono Trigger, and they were paying $40 and $50 for it. And then like the Super Game Boys, I think they've gone down a lot lately, but they used to be really expensive, and we sold a bunch of them. Secret of Mana, Zeldas, Contra, and there, for a while it seemed like there was an unlimited supply of Contra, and I think we were selling them for like $14 a piece. So sometimes we might have had to pay $5 and make just a little bit of money off of them, after fees and all that stuff. But there was never a point for us or me going after classic games to collect long term, to add money to a bank account. That was never, we didn't even think that was possible when we were collecting for the Atari 2600 up until like Super Nintendo, and until the Super Nintendo was out, and PlayStation 1, and all the systems past like the PS1, we started seeing like a surgence or whatever of classic, a decent profitable classic gaming market. Some of the differences you'll see from people that were collecting in the 70s, 80s, and 90s versus ones that just start to collect now is that we really don't see numbers when we're collecting. We may actually see that games that we thought were always going to be there for a decent price just started going up so high that we said, okay, we either have to get it now or it's going to be going up 10 times more. Just like Snatcher, Snatcher on the Sega CD, $800 to $1,500 now. KO Flying Squadron, $3,000-ish, who knows what Panzer Dragoon Saga's going for now, and a lot of the other games. It's like Terminator on the Sega CD. I slept so long on it when it was a $20 game, and now it's like $100, $200 game, something like that. And there's no way for me to really justify paying the cost of a lot of these. I have bought a few of them and paid a little bit more than I should have, but it's I'm looking for like Dragon Warrior 4, one that's not a bootleg for Nintendo for a decent price. And if I don't find it, I guess that's okay, but it kind of sucks I didn't get it when it was 30 or $40. So if I would have been into the money portion of that. And we got a cat invading us again. The smart thing would have to do would have been to sell off my Sega CD collection once I seen it go for so high. You know, the top dogs had been kind of steadily increasing over time, like Snatcher. It went from like a $59 game to $250, and now, like I said, $800 to $1,500. There's a few games that are in that, you know, $600-700 range as well. So, but you know, I am the old school collector. You know, it's hard to budge that out of my hands, because I have such love for the system and the games. And, you know, I do occasionally play them, just like, you know, 2015 or whenever I went back and I had almost a 20-year game on several of them, like Cosmic Fantasy Stories, Dark Wizard, Lunar Eternal Blue, Vi. You know, those 4 games, I had like a 20-year game. I finally completed them, you know, after, you know, 18, 19, 20 years. So somebody collecting for, you know, show and profit, they're going to get bored of their collection probably after they show it off to everybody. And if the money's right, they'll probably sell it off to somebody else and, you know, boast about you know, how much money they made. You know, since I did do a lot of selling and reselling, you know, in the Yahoo auction days and the, you know, the early eBay days and stuff, I did get a lot of things that I sold when I should have kept like at least a single copy from, you know, like old Chrono Trigger and Secret of Mana and a lot of the games like that. All the Mega Man games that we sold, I just wish that I would have kept, you know, a good, you know, complete set of Mega Man for Nintendo. Nowadays, for even current gen systems, I do not actively go looking for classic, you know, games or anything anymore. I got most of what I wanted. There are, you know, a handful that are still on my want list for if I can find them at the right time for the right price. But, you know, game systems that aren't my systems, or even ones that are somewhat current gen that are my system, like the Switch and the PS4. I'm mainly just looking for genres of games, franchises of games, you know, and stuff like that I like, that I will play, or, you know, occasionally ones that I think my kids will like. So it's never about profit for me, and I have kind of my own little investment thing with you know, current in market sealed physical media, which I differentiate from collecting, you know, games like this, which I call physical media investing. And I'll probably do a video on that one day as well and kind of explain a little bit more. But, you know, in that sense, you're not taking away vintage games out of the market for gamers that want to play them, because these are like currently in the market, or were when I invested in them, which is majorly different. And you can do this too. And a big thing is physical media is dying. You know, we're fixing to have a PlayStation 5 console that is digital only, and you'll be able to, supposedly, to add a drive to it, you know, a 4K Blu-ray player to it for, I guess, physical media games and movies. And, you know, there's like the Xbox One S or whatever digital version, and that's the way we've seen, you know, companies try to go for a while now. And one day, just because people that aren't like Gen Xers and before are eventually going to lose out to people born over the last 20, 25 years or so, 30 years, that are okay with digital, you know, buying digital copies of stuff. It's bad enough that, you know, when you buy a physical copy today, you usually don't get any kind of instruction manual or kind of hint guide or anything. But I mean, check this out. You get a really nice guide in a lot of these. Sometimes you would have a guidebook and instructions, and you would have posters, and you'd have all kinds of other stuff, and Might and Magic Gates to Another World here. And now, you know, you're going to lose, you know, everything. You're going to lose the physical game. You're going to lose the artwork, you know, the covers. You're going to lose, you know, you've already kind of lost instruction manuals, which sucks, but I don't know what else to say. But I think that kind of gives everybody an idea of, you know, how I became a collector, you know, what my kind of ideas are for collecting, as someone not collecting for profit or money, as someone collecting for nostalgia, and for, you know, a lot of ways, games, types, genres of games, franchises that I personally love. And I probably have somewhere around 2,300 to 2,600 games right now. And that's games from the 70s all the way up to current gen. And a lot of people might say, well, you know, you're never going to be able to play through all of them. Probably not. You know, I hope that my kids one day will start playing, but you know, a lot of these as well. But just like going back almost 20 years to replay or play through or complete a game, you know, I still have those dreams and ambitions as well. And I have played through a lot of games, and I've stopped playing games because I got more games, and then it got behind, and then, you know, consoles were upgraded and obsoleted and yada yada. And now raising kids makes it very hard, but hopefully things will get easier one day. Take care.